And she could do a lot of siege damage, though, when
Yeah.
it comes to the fact that this map is so small.
Yeah. Still waiting to see what Wild Garot's going to pull out of their sleeve here. They still need their front man. They still need their tank. There's some viable options out there. We still have the ETC. We might, maybe we'll see a Stitches this time around. But, you know, there's... Oh, they end up picking up Thrall for their fourth pick. Overall, he's one of those heroes you don't really see much of nowadays, but you've seen a lot of him today. For some odd, strange reason, he's been popping up. So we're gonna see how he works out, but they still need a front man. So Stitches, ETC, Arthas, Tyrael. What are you thinking?
Well, I think probably ETC. They really like that Thrall. It really seems like Wildgrowth is the only one who likes the Thrall, but they have made a lot of plays work with him. And I think that that's pretty cool, showing that, you know, there's a place for every hero as long as you really understand that hero and what place they have in a team comp. ETC, but is of course very viable, but oh, actually they're gonna go with the Murden. I forgot that they like to do this. They did the Murden and Thrall before.
Yes, they did. Yeah, just thinking of it now, I don't know why Mirrodin just didn't come in my mind when I was naming off the tanks. But he's
well,
definitely...
I don't often see him.
Yeah, and he's definitely starting to come more into the limelight of heroes, of competitiveness, so I can see why he's getting picked up. A lot of stuns coming his way. Definitely stun Jaina, Vala. Just so much damage that could be coming out from that whole team of Wild Growth at this point. Fraud has their last pick, so I'm thinking they're gonna probably most likely go for something a lot of damage here.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them picking up Tychus, so that's definitely a possibility. They might also go for somebody who can kind of deal with that back line of Vala and Jaina. I don't know. Could we maybe see a Nova here?
Ooh, you never know. Nova's always in the back of everyone's mind, and when you end up seeing Nova, chat just goes insane. Ooh, and this is another favorite amongst the community is the Lost Vikings ends up getting picked for Fraud on their last pick there. So this is going to round out both teams.
Very interesting. The choice of the Lost Vikings with the Sergeant Hammer.
Yes. And interested to see how it's all going to work out. Both teams are setting up the lobby as we speak. We'll be getting into this game very, very shortly. We'll just look quick for the last second at their draft picks here and get ready for this game to begin. So...
Bella's got the Master Skin Viking, so obviously is capable or has played a ton of games with them. One of the two.
Yeah, very true. He could be a master at the Vikings. We'll just have to see if everything works out. If you're just tuning in, folks, this is the third place match of the ESL Go4Heroes number 19, the America's Cup. After this is only the best of one, so there is no other games after this. And you do end up get seeding points if I remember correctly. Let me just take a look here really quick. I know first place ends up getting 100. Yeah, you end up getting points, but I don't think the points matter anymore because it all comes down to the open league that is now going on from ESL. So interested to see pretty much just bragging rights at this point.
Yeah. And of course, guys, after this, you can always go and tune in to ZP's stream. They're casting the finals between Shot in the Bullets Reloaded and Tempo Storm as well. But for now, hang out with us, guys. This should be a very good game, very cool game. Getting to see these cool comps, and we'll be on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
And Tomb of the Spider Queen. We get to see more rupees drop. So, always excited about that. I just hope we don't see, like, previous matches where you collect 80 and then you lose them all. That would just be... it's just...
My heart was breaking.
It's just rough, and I don't want to see that happen to anybody, either team. So, I just hope it doesn't. And I actually Yeah, I have the names right. So if you want to go ahead and start us off with Wild Growth on the blue side.
Sure thing. This is Wild Growth. We've got Grim Reaper SF on Jaina, Jordo on Thrall, Blythawk on Vala. Let's see, that's Collusion playing Muradin and Derek playing Rhaegar. Thank you guys so much for grouping up in as tight of a little ball as possible.
Thanks, guys. On the side of Fraud, we have Bellamorte on the Lost Vikings and that Master Skin. Kiefer's on Diablo again. Bro Montana on that Uther play. Anxiety actually going for the Sergeant Hammer this time around. And how New Guy ends up going for the Tassadar. So, back to that comfort pick that he absolutely enjoys playing.
Yeah, definitely likes that, and they are setting up a little bit here for gank, but meanwhile, so are Wild Growth. They're just kind of hanging out on those two turn-in points, and they're realizing that they're just going to need to go to lane. Oh, actually, Jordo getting caught a little bit out of position, gets overpowered by Kiefer's, can't really get away, is body blocked into infinity by Bro Montana. They're trying to keep him alive, Octeric through a bunch of heals this way, but they will actually catch Thrall and get the first kill.
It doesn't work out how they were planning it would. As you can see there, Jordo up top tries to jump in there and tries to get ready to jump on Anxiety. It just didn't work that way. Jordo ends up getting caught behind body blocked behind enemy lines like that. Ends up getting taken down when the Bellamorte on the Lost Vikings comes down and deals some damage. So it's going to be a pushback on all lanes now. As you can see, Fraud Esports is up a little bit on that experience game. Grim Reaper taking a lot of damage from Bro Montana, Kiefer's Anxiety, and that's going to be a dead Jaina.
Yeah, just continuing to catch out. Kiefer's doing such a great job of overpowering people right into the range of Anxiety on that Sergeant Hammer, and that's just a lot of damage to try to deal with, especially in the early phases when everyone's spread out trying to lane.
And you see the range of Anxiety, especially with Bro Montana just keeping him back there, keeping him safe. Bro Montana taking a lot of damage from Kilu. Oct on Pursuit of Anxiety, but they're going to focus their main attacks on Bro, but he's going to get away. They just don't have enough DPS to take anybody down at the moment. It was just technically Jaina trying to do the most.
Yeah, as we do have Vala sitting in the bottom, just trying to soak there. Now, Wild Growth has turned in a few rupees, as you like to call them, but for the most part, it's pretty much a low turn-in game so far, with Fraud Esports picking up their level 4 talents a little bit ahead of the game thanks to those two early picks.
Yeah, they have a little bit of a lead at the moment. They're starting to turn in their rupees on the side of Fraud. I'll keep saying rupees until we get like a class like action lawsuit from Nintendo or something saying we can't say that anymore. But Kiefer's just trying to get something set up here. I don't think he's going to be able to. If he doesn't play it smart, he's going to end up getting caught here. But overall, ends up working in his favor, and the push is just going to keep going where Fraud Esports has the upper advantage on experience.
Yeah, they definitely got this mid lane pushed in such a way that it's making it really difficult. Now, Collusion is trying to come in and get a lot done, but that's a lot of Vikings just hanging out. Kiefer's throws Collusion into the fray. Jordo's getting caught out a little bit and is going to have to disengage, and this is what I'm talking about. They're just holding this top turn-in point in such a commanding way. It's making it difficult for Wild Growth to really be able to turn in or even push out at all, and now Sergeant Hammer is sieging up on the towers.
He has that position where he could start working on it. Down below, we see Tassadar actually ended up pushing Vala back into base to heal up, and this is doing very well for on the bottom side of Fraud. In middle, we see a little bit of engage from Kiefer's on Anxiety. Grim Reaper doing that damage with that Blizzard from Jaina. It's not going to be enough to secure a kill, but it's just going to kind of keep pushing back and forth here, keeping dominance over the lane, which definitely Fraud is doing at this point.
Yeah, man, they've already got one tower down. They're working on the next one, but a good Blizzard is going to force Anxiety to have to thrusters away, and that's going to give them a little bit of breathing room. They're throwing a lot of damage on Kiefer's, who does have quite a few gems, especially at this early stage. And they're finally breaking out of the siege a little bit, and they're trying to maybe take out some of these Vikings up top.
Vikings are doing very, very good job pushing. They're staying as 3, so they have that push potential. Jordo up top with no mana at all needs to be careful because no heals are going to be coming out if you're not doing anything up top. Kiefer's Mid lane taking damage almost down to half. It's not going to be enough because, remember, the only one with real damage at this point is Grim, but he can't take down a Diablo by himself, so no one's actually going to end up going down. This game is actually a shocker, Gilly, because you see that not a lot of kills are going on this game compared to some of the other ones we showcased today.
Yeah, it's such a siege, right, from Fraud Esports, and Wild Growth is kind of concerned about trying to engage into that siege because it's giving a bit of an experience lead. Now they are caught up, and actually a fight going on at the turning point. Collusion getting caught in between so many people. Does Dwarf toss out just in time. Grim Reaper dealing a lot of damage with her Blizzard, but is trying to step back just a little bit. Does not want to get caught out of position, especially with that Keepers. Can quickly turn the fight, as he's going to show when he throws Octeric into the towers, and he's going to go down. And that will be a kill for Fraud Esports.
Yeah, on the side of Fraud, though, Sergeant does end up going down, which isn't bad. At the same time, they do lose some gems. But on the side of Wild Growth, you really have to watch. You have to be careful. They have 51. They just turned in a few amount. And there we go. Webweaver's first phase is coming up for the side of Wild Growth.
Wow, I did not expect the first Webweavers to go to them, but they were able to push out of the siege that was mid a little bit. And that's really good because they already have lost the gate and towers in mid.
Yeah, they've lost that. So they're going to kind of put their attention on these Webweavers to help out. On the side, you see Grim Reaper and Derek ends up taking that Bruiser camp, so that's going to help push this middle lane. And I can see this potentially going in their favor, where they're going to have great push potential. You see Grim Reaper with that Blizzard coming out there from Jaina, but it's not going to be anything, just kind of like a poke method back and forth. They rotate down bottom, though, and they want to secure at least a couple of gates and towers.
Yeah, they definitely need some towers to get back into this. They are about a level behind, and the next level, of course, will be 10, where you'll get those heroic abilities. And so they really, really need to try to catch up as much as possible by just pushing the lanes and getting turrets, also not getting caught out of position.
So right now, time has come. Fraud Esports is level 10 first, and they have a whole level over them. So this is going to be rough. This is where a point where if you're Wild Growth and you're playing on their team, you do not want to get involved in a team fight because you know you're not going to be able to win. You can, not saying it's impossible, but it's definitely a lot harder to do that. So they need to just play it safe. They don't need to be getting killed, out of position and so forth. So just play it safe, Wild Growth, until you're level 10.
They are almost there, but that does mean that red Webweavers are descending, and actually up top, they're already on the fort, and that's even before the Webweavers have come down. The siege potential from those Vikings and the Sergeant Hammer is just so much, proving that you don't just need a Sylvanas to be able to siege. They are already heading straight toward the gate in front of Keep here, unless they're going to rotate, which is possible they might also do.
So just looking at how the map presence is at the moment, you can see all the members of Fraud Esports are on the top lane. We also have damage going down in the middle lane, and this might be a small engage. Ring of Frost does go out from Jaina on Grim. Gets a couple targets, but I don't think it's going to be enough. But as we see Bro Montana taking a lot of damage, Bella Morte is not going to be able to do much as he is in that Vikings, but they are just dishing damage. But overall, it ends up turning in favor of Fraud Esports as different members of Wild Growth ends up getting taken down. And wow, this just turned in the favor of Fraud. And I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting that Wild Growth towers keep, that they would have had these fights. And wow, just good job from Fraud.
Yeah, Jaina actually ending up a bit out of position there, was super far up, and with a quick lightning breath from Diablo, he was able to secure that kill as well in that fight. So although the Ring of Frost was able to catch people right at the beginning, it was kind of difficult for Wild Growth to be able to engage in on top of that, and because of that, they lost the whole tower and gate formation there in front of their keep, as well as the mid fort too.
Yeah, Webweavers were definitely doing work. Keeper's going in. Kilu also diving in there to try and do some damage on Bro Montana, but it's not going to be enough as they engage here. Lightning Breath does go out. Kiefer's doing a lot of damage. Grim just in the back lines, get that ancestral healing off, and it's going to save his life barely. Kiefer's going in, but the damage from Jaina is going to be way too much at this point. Ooh, a lot of deaths going out. Jordo still in here, Bro Montana. We still have an equal side, 3 for 3 on both members here. Bly has to go back. That means Oct, Derek, and Jordo is still left behind, and the Vikings are still in hot pursuit as they are throwing and doing damage. Is Oct going to end up going down? And he does! He ends up dying right in front of the gate. Wow.
You know, we've talked about Strafe just dealing a lot of damage, but when you've got kind of a buffer of 3 Vikings taking a lot of those attacks, she did deal a lot of damage and help secure a couple of kills, but that was so many arrows that could have been going to actual, like, full heroes and instead being absorbed by the Vikings, who then could just hop into their boat.
And that's the power of the Lost Vikings. Just that ability getting into their ship and just doing immense damage, and not really taking damage when they when they come out of it. It's similar to how Odin was back in the day. We're gonna try and see if there's gonna be an engage here from Wild Growth as they try and defend this bottom that is surely gonna end up falling. So it's anxiety is gonna be in the back, just plummeting damage.
Wow, How actually picked up Distortion Beam on Tassadar. Not something you see super often there at level 13.
Yeah, it's something unique. It was, but you don't see it much often. Bellamorte coming out, Kiefer's taking a lot of damage, and we see Lightning Breath going out, Ancestral Healing does not go off in time. Somehow, Kiefer's is still alive. Lord of Terror is not dying at all. Who Zion is just too far. He has to back out and get out of there. Brim and Bly are both very, very low, and this is just going to be a non-stop push for Fraud Esports as they have the upper hand here.
Yeah, actually, a lot of damage focused on Kiefer's, who was really far up into that fight, but then a really clutch Divine Shield from Uther just saved the day. It really just made the difference. He was about to die, but that just gave them enough time needed for Fraud to be able to take out a couple of the members of Wild Growth, so they had to disengage from there. And now we're seeing a 2-level lead. Wild Growth has just picked up their level 13 talents, and Fraud's almost to 16.
Yeah, you gotta watch. 16 is that sweet spot. 20 is the next achievement to reach. But 16, you gotta watch those team fights. They're gonna have a whole talent choice up, and I want to see what they end up picking here. So as soon as, if they don't end up fighting here, we'll talk about it. Give us some time, Fraud. Give us some time. All right.
Nope, they say no.
Oh, yeah, they're not gonna give it to us. Kiefer's taking. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say they are starting the siege here at the mid lane. They've taken out the wall. How is a little bit out of position, is going to get away, and here comes the boat. Now Jaina has dropped the Rune of Frost, stopped Bro Montana, but he does Divine Shield himself. That might be just enough time for them to take out Jordo, and they do, followed by Muradin. And oh no, Octeric trying to get away, has 20 gems, really does not want to lose those. And Vala, Jaina, and Rhaegar are going to be able to get away, but they're going to lose this keep because of it.
Oh, 2 words. Divine Shield.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't be a pick back in the day. Like, a few months ago, people would laugh at you if you ended up picking that for your level 10 talent choice. And nowadays, it's top pick. I mean, it keeps one of your team members longer in the fight. Kiefer's, during that whole fight, had the perfect lightning breath. He was in the middle of that, and he hit all of the members of Wild Growth. Jaina ends up getting taken out there as the pursuit from Fraud is too much. Jaina is out of fight for 30 seconds. So they can continue to push here, and it seems like they're gonna. It seems like they want to secure another kill and just make sure they claim this map. And ends up turning where Fraud is going to get another phase of Web Weavers.
Yeah, their push is relentless between Sergeant Hammer and the Lost Vikings. It makes it very difficult for Wild Growth. They've made it the whole game very difficult to try to engage into, even from the very beginning. So now they're going to be up top. They've already got minions on the keep, and that's the Web Weavers are on their way. The keep's already at half health. The Reaper's going to try to do something. They're going to try to move in a little bit, but they've got to be careful because they still don't have those level 16 talents.
Yeah, Web Weaver has now spotted down, and it's going to continue to start working on this inner keeps here. And as you can see, Tidal Wave goes down to the purple stuff and ends up doing damage. A lot of damage going out. Web Weaver's going to still go in. It's going to buy them some time, as you can see. Fraud is just going to rotate. They're going to end up just... looks like they're going to go down bottom and actually help the bottom Web Weaver a little bit. And maybe try and secure this keep bottom. It looks like that's what their overall goal looks like.
Yep, they're starting to move in. Anxiety's going to siege up, most likely where it seems safe, or maybe not. They have to be a little bit careful here because it will be the whole team versus the whole team underneath the keep. But the Web Weavers still have a little bit of health yet, and here comes the push. There's the Tidal Wave, and they are getting the keep down close. Keepers is actually going to go in, maybe going to try to engage on this. They know, though, the Wild Growth was about to hit 16, so they had to be a little bit careful because evening up in the talents could have spelled disaster for them if they overstepped.
Yeah, if you overstep now, it could be very, very bad. Yeah, even though Fraud Esports does have more win on this map, one team wipe could end this game if they push hard enough. So, Bella Morte taking a lot of damage from Bly, but it's not going to be enough. Blizzard goes down from Jaina, trying to hit somebody, but it doesn't actually end up doing any damage. Hits some minions, but nothing too overpowered. And we see Fraud here just kind of backing up. And I think they're going to set up for a boss. They're going to try and go for a boss here.
Now, in the defense of Wild Growth, I have seen them come back from having no keeps to winning.
Yep.
They did it actually in the last game of Heroes Hype this past week, and it was probably my favorite game I've ever casted because it was so insane. So, they can still come back, guys, but it's going to be difficult on this map especially. We've talked about this map, of course, being a little bit snowbally. That one was on Dragonshire. And this could be it because that is a boss barreling down. It's going to head straight to core. They're almost level 20, whereas Wild Growth still is only just now got their 16. There's going to be an engagement. Collusion's very out of position. Going to dwarf toss away, gets Ancestral healed, but still taking a lot of damage from the Lightning Breath. Blythark trying to come in, going to throw a lot of damage down in form of Strafe. They're trying to kill Keepers. They do pick him up, but Jordo goes down as well, and now it's 1-1 down on each side with Diablo coming back. He had enough souls. Octaric trying to get out of position, as is Grim Reaper, but both are going to go down. And that Collusion actually just trying to kind of lead them away a little bit. Maybe he can kind of convince them not to go attack. But of course, there's still the boss. It's just Vala up, and that's going to be game. Yeah,
very, very well done from Fraud. Again, Divine Shield, just OP, nerf please. And this is going to go to the victory of Fraud, and they end up taking third place here.
GG's to both teams. Seeing the